Your 8-minute question and answer period will now begin. If your team was given $25,000 right now, what would you use it for?
If we were given $25,000 right now, what we would use it for is to develop our shaking devices for plankton farms. So we know that it is going to cost us some money. We're still figuring out the exact cost of developing these shaking devices, and that's our main barrier from actually launching plankton farms.
What accomplishment from the last year are you most proud of?
I think within the last year, being virtual and being not able to work with our team as directly as we might have done in the past, we've really honed down on innovation this year and furthering expansion of an active Simon Fraser University. For example, Plankton Farms as well as our console drive are two brand new initiatives that we've started this year, most of which has come out of being in a virtual environment, which is probably an opportunity that we wouldn't have had otherwise.
What existing resources has your team leveraged through the development of your project?
Yeah, so for Bright Ideas, we used resources from the entrepreneurship and innovation professors, as well as this year we teamed up with the Charles Chang Institute of Entrepreneurship at our school, and they have a ton of resources on entrepreneurship that we were able to leverage. As far as the console drive, we've used our resources as far as research through our university, and same with Plankton Farms, we're utilizing our resources with other faculties.
What is an example of a hurdle you faced because of COVID-19 and how did you overcome it?
Yeah, I think for plankton farms, for example, one of the challenges that we've had recently is having access to a lab. Because of the protocols that are in place, being able to further our research and development has been a hurdle that we're continuously working through. For the console drive, something that we really had to think about was the ability to donate physical goods. Obviously, organizations want these used consoles that are refurbished, but going through the COVID protocols of making sure everything is clean and safe for our teams to pick up and deliver has been really important. And then lastly, for Bright Ideas, transitioning to an online environment from a program that would normally be in person, what was important to us is being able to keep up the engagement of those sessions and still being able to provide a really valuable program and keep the integrity of the program intact for Bright Ideas.
Do you have plans to scale your projects? Why and how?
Yeah, so for Bright Ideas, we do have plans to scale. As far as being online, what we really learned was that our program can be put in place anywhere. So one of the places we're looking at scaling is in Northern British Columbia, where communities are a lot smaller and rely on small businesses and entrepreneurship. And also students there often have fewer resources. As far as the console drive, we are looking for more partners. Directions Youth Services is awesome, but they are relatively small, so we don't want to overwhelm them with a ton of consoles that they don't have youth to give to. So we're looking at hospitals and other services. As far as Plankton Farms, right now our main focus is just launching, and we'll focus on scaling once we kind of get over that hurdle of launching.
Did your team take any action to increase diversity and inclusion?
So for Bright Ideas specifically, one of the ways that we've been looking at diversification of our participants is because of being online, we've been able to work with students from all across Canada, which is something that we traditionally wouldn't have been able to do. What we found through this is that by bringing people who live in diverse parts of Canada as a country, that we're able to bring in unique ideas into the Bright Ideas program that we otherwise wouldn't see when you have participants that attend similar high schools or live in similar areas. By expanding that, we've been able to increase that diversification. For Plankton Farms specifically, as we mentioned, this project is still being ideated and launched today, so that's not super relevant for that project in particular. And then for the console drive, providing the consoles to youth that otherwise wouldn't have access to the cognitive skills that can be gained through using these consoles has been an important piece for us as far as diversifying that particular project. Rather than simply diverting electronics waste, we're using that electronics to a good use that's going to provide a lot of value for those youth.
Why is your team the right group to run these projects?
Our team is a team of doers. We're super excited and motivated to get projects going. This year, we started the year with one operational project, Bright Ideas, and our team banded together and created two new projects that we are launching, the console drive this month and Plankton Farms this year. So we were really a motivated team that was able to launch these projects and get them off the ground.
How are your projects funded?
So, no, go ahead.
Part of our project funding does come through our school. They are a partner of ours and they support us tremendously in project innovation. We also receive money at competitions like this. And we also reach out to community partners. For example, Bright Ideas is partnered with Coast Capital Savings, who provides them funding every year to help their program operate.
How does your team define success?
So for Bright Ideas specifically, we define success by looking at our impact metrics. For example, based off of this year, 60% of our students are considering entrepreneurship as a viable career path, and 86% of those students also say that they're going to connect with their mentor in the future for support. So for Bright Ideas, it's really looking at those impact metrics. For the console drive, as we mentioned, the console drive will be hosted this month. So we've set an initial target for our pilot at 50 consoles that are going to be donated and utilized by youth in our community. So that's how we're defining success for that project. And then for Plankton Farms, really what we're focusing on is launching this project. But once we do, we're looking at the number of sales that we've generated, as well as community partners that we're able to work with in order to further the development of that project.
Looking at the triple bottom line, people, planet, and prosperity, is there one of those where your team could have done better?
I think the piece that we really wanted to work on this year was the planet side of things. Bright Ideas, it doesn't create a negative impact on the planet, but we're not really doing anything currently to further it other than educating the youth about how businesses can reduce their impact. That's one of the reasons that we were really excited to come up with the console drive and Plankton Farms, because they are both really planet-based, diverting waste from landfills and absorbing CO2 and creating oxygen. That's something that our organization hadn't really done in the past, and we're really excited to have in the future.
Do you have any direct competitors, and what is your unique competitive advantage?
So for Bright Ideas specifically, what makes us unique is our mentorship program. As we mentioned, our students really rely on their mentors, not only from the Bright Ideas perspective, but also from the perspective of when they finish the program, they utilize the mentor as a resource going forward. We've seen a lot of people that have participated in Bright Ideas and come back to the program as a mentor and in other areas within Enactus SFU. For the console drive, this is more of a strategic project of ours. There are other console drives more focused on the computer aspect.
Your time has now expired. Thank you, Enactus Simon Fraser University.